Hey guys, welcome to another video. Daniela here from Looking Glass. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. Today I am going to do something that I haven't done in a really long time, and that is a Q&A. I have recently come back from my travels to Thailand, and I posted in the community tab if you guys had any questions about how I made this travel possible with so many chronic illnesses, including fibromyalgia, POTS, mast cell activation syndrome, chronic migraines, and ankylosing spondylitis. And that is a handful amount of chronic illnesses, and they all can have very debilitating symptoms. The first question is from Dria8110. It's kind of hard to tell some of the usernames, but I hope I'm saying it right. And the question is, do you have heat intolerance? And the answer is yes, absolutely. And let me tell you something. I don't think I've ever in my entire life been in so much heat. And this is coming from someone who was born in Brazil, lived in Brazil for 15 years, and goes back to Brazil every year. So when I'm telling you that it was insane hot, and I don't think I've been in so much heat, I am not kidding you.
Whoa! The heat! And it's what, 5 in the morning? Need a little break from the heat. I am melting. The heat is no joke. This is insane hot. Middle of the day, the heat is just unforgiving.
So how did I deal with heat intolerance? So the most important thing, obviously, it is to keep cool. And the number one advice I have for you guys is to invest in a good insulated water bottle and have it always filled with ice. So every day we would find a place, sometimes 7-Eleven would sell them, or we would buy them at restaurants, and fill the water bottle completely with ice. This water bottle is so well insulated that the ice would last 2 to 3 days with us refilling the water multiple times a day. So keep well hydrated with cold water, and that will definitely help cool you down. And then you can also add electrolytes. That will not necessarily keep you cool, but it will help balance that feeling of dehydration or just feeling like, you know, sunstroke. It will just help your electrolytes and help you feel a little bit better. Something else that I saw a lot of people using there is those electric fans. I saw a lot of the handheld portable ones. Those were being sold everywhere, but I find that this one is better because I don't have to keep holding it. You just put it around your neck, and this will just keep blowing fresh air. And if you can keep your neck cool, it makes a huge difference. And so I always had a hair clip, so I would have my hair up, and then you can have this here. I also carried this because I didn't always want it to carry the weight, or if it ran out of batteries. This was just quick and easy, and I used this quite a bit as well. And then of course you also want some protection from the sun on your face, and so I wore this hat quite a bit, and also another one, there's more like a bucket hat that gives some protection on the neck as well. The reason I like this one best is because I can actually thread my hair through here. So I would just sort of like make a ponytail and then just put my hair through the hole there. And then now I can still use the clip to clip my hair up like that. And so now I have my hair out of my neck. I can wear this I can drink water, and that is basically how I kept cool while out and about. But the other thing that was extremely important and that helped us keep cool was to take a break halfway through the day. And so every day after lunch, we would go back to the hotel and we would lie down in the air conditioning for at least a couple of hours. And that made a huge difference because usually after 4 p.m., the sun starts to go down and then it's not as hot. And then the other thing that I did too is whenever I had an opportunity to go inside a place that had air conditioning, I would go in for a few minutes. And that is not very common in Thailand. The only place that had air conditioning that we went to was the hotel and 7-Elevens. All the restaurants, all the stores, everything else does not have air conditioning. However, every time you sit down, they will come and place a fan right on your face. It was actually quite funny because they know that you're hot. So as soon as you sit down, they will just bring the fan and blow it right at you. And that really makes a difference. But whenever I had the chance, I would go into a 7-Eleven, which are all over the place, absolutely all over the place. And I wouldn't necessarily even buy anything. I would just be in the store for like 5 or 10 minutes, just kind of look around. They have so many interesting snacks and it's just fun to look around. And I would just cool off a little bit and be ready to be out for another while. But definitely the heat was no joke and it was a challenge. The other way to cope is to be in places where you can be by a pool or by the ocean and keep getting wet. That was not the case in Bangkok. It was a city, we were doing sightseeing and that was more of a challenge. But after we went to the islands, I would just get in the ocean and that would really, really refresh me. So another question by Cassandra1345. I would also like to know how you combat the difficulty regulating your temperature. So that kind of goes with the previous question of the heat intolerance. And I don't typically go to places where it's cold because cold causes me a lot of pain and I find it harder to deal with the cold. Heat can make me feel very lethargic, can make me feel nauseous, can make me feel dizzy, but it will not increase my pain. The opposite, will actually make my pain better. And so I tend to look for places that are warm. Ideally, you want to be in a place where there's no extreme weather so that you can be more comfortable. But if you are in extreme heat, like all the tips I talked previously about staying cool, definitely helps. Also, wearing appropriate clothing makes a huge difference. And I know that because when you go into temples, you have to cover your shoulders and your knees. So I was wrapping like a sarong on top of whatever I was wearing, and then I was putting like a short sleeve shirt on top of my tank tops. So I had to put my little skirt and cover my shoulders to go into the temple. And while I was in the temples, it was so hot, so hot. I felt way worse than when I was out and walking in just a tank top and shorts. It's 1,000,000 degrees. I am absolutely dripping in sweat. They say the hottest is between 11 and 3 and it's 2 o'clock now. The clothing that you wear makes a huge difference. So wear clothing that is breathable, that is flowy so that there is air circulation, natural fabrics, and wear as little clothing as possible. All right, let's see what the next question is. That is by Shayla Orlando. I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure if it's Shayla. I think it's Shayla. Let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Orlando 2251, and she asked, how do you deal with a 28-hour flight, especially with POTS and being sitting for so many hours? So for me, this starts with picking the seat. I prefer an aisle seat because it just gives me a little bit more leg room and I can sort of stretch my legs into the aisle if I need to. Don't do that while they're doing the inboard service because you're going to get your legs run over by the carts. But, you know, mid-flight, it is nice to be able to just stretch your knees. But also, you don't have to bother anybody to get up and walk. So I actually did many laps in the plane. And it's a big, long plane. And I would go all the way, and where they have the emergency exit, there's a little bit more room, or the galley, you kind of go to the other side, back to the plane. And I did several laps like that. And that helps my blood circulation. I also was wearing compression socks that just help that pressure so that you don't swell as much. And I also got up and did stretches. So I would go all the way to the back of the plane where they have like a lot of the washrooms, and there's the galley, and there is that little bit of a space there. And I did like ankle rotations. I stretched like my body, like touch my toes and, move like side to side. Basically any stretches that feel good. I did a lot of like moving my hips like this because my back hurts a lot as well. So basically get circulation going, get movement going, and walking around. And that is pretty much how I managed the POTS aspect of it. The flight was an overnight flight going there, so I find that there is less traffic of people because a lot of people are sleeping, so it is a little bit easier to move around. On the way back, it was a day flight, but fortunately I got upgraded to business class, and so I had the completely lying down pods, and so I just had my legs up the whole time. I still got up a few times to stretch and move, but just lying down and having your legs up makes the world of a difference. And it would have been harder to manage that flight if I was in economy, because a lot of people are up during the day and it just makes it harder to do laps and to stretch. There's all these lines up at the bathroom, and so that area gets a little bit clogged. So you just got to do your best, but the key is movement, of course, keeping hydrated, which again, if you're in an aisle seat, it makes it a lot easier for you to get up and go to the bathroom as many times as you want without feeling you're bothering people. So the next question is by Jenny DM4FP, and she asked, how do you deal with anxiety over chronic pain pre-trip? Yes, that is a real thing. And I swear that I always end up getting myself into a flare just before a trip because of the stress of thinking about the trip. And that is completely counterintuitive. Like, you really want to be as well as possible. I have had to cancel trips in the past because I was in such bad flare just before going, and there was just no way that I would be able to survive the trip. But basically, I think I mentally prepare myself knowing that I am going to be in a lot of pain. I know I'm going to be in a lot of pain, and I mentally prepare myself for it. And how I deal is, yes, one, try to minimize as much as you can that pain. So I do have all my extra medications. I will take oxycodone, I will take opioids if I need to, I will take muscle relaxants, and I try to distract myself as much as possible. I download lots of shows on my phone, things to read on my Kindle, and distraction. Just try to not think about it. You know you're going to be in pain, and have a plan for when you arrive to recover. I think that is extremely important. If you know you're going to be in pain, you know you're going to sort of like flare up, be in a comfortable hotel if you're going to a hot place with air conditioning, and knowing that if you are just going to be in the hotel room for 24 hours and not leave and order room service, that's what it's going to take for you to, get started in your trip and recover. Yeah, so basically there is no easy way to do it. Choose your seats, try not to be squeezed right in the middle. Like I said before, I prefer an aisle seat so I can move around, because movement for me is super important. Then Maslina 4567 asks, do people ever ask how you can possibly travel with your conditions when you avoid other things? That is a great question. A lot of people will judge you and will doubt the validity of your conditions because they see you traveling, or they see pictures that you post on social media, or they will see a travel vlog that I made. And I've had even people say, oh, there must be something in your house, because when you're home, you're always sick, and when you're gone, you're not. So there must be something in your house making you sick. And obviously, I only go traveling when I'm well. There are other times that I'm well at home as well, but I love going to places. I love traveling. I love camping. I love adventure. I love exploring. So if I'm well, I'm going to take every opportunity that I have to go do those things. And then there's the questions regarding how come you can go on a vacation, but you can't come to this family event, or you can't work. And basically what I say to that is, I have very, very limited energy, and I have to pick and choose very carefully where I spend my energy. And it is important for me to spend my energy doing things that are going to make me feel better mentally, that are going to refill my cup. And social events can be very draining for me in all senses, like in stimulation of lights and sounds, but also emotionally. A lot of people asking how you're feeling, and you're having to explain your conditions, and you're having to explain, why you're not working, and all those kind of things are very draining. And I prefer to go camping by myself in nature and get rejuvenated by that, than to maybe go to an event where it's going to physically and emotionally drain me. So it's about choosing where you spend your energy wisely. Yeah, these are never easy questions, and you do feel quite judged when people ask those things. And then last question, and I can't remember who asked that. I think that was in the middle of like a bigger comment, and is, do you have further travel plans for the year? Absolutely, yes, I do. I am going to be going to Brazil in about a week now, and it is partially vacation, partially to go see my rheumatologist there and get an MRI done, because I am sick and tired of waiting for it here in Canada. So it's partially a medical appointment, and then I'm going to travel south and go visit my dad there and make a little vacation out of it. When I come back, I am going to be doing lots of more local camping trips that are about 5-6 hour drive from where I live. I am planning a trip to the US to meet another fellow YouTuber that we met last year, and we did a whitewater rafting trip together, and it was so much fun, and we're gonna make it a yearly tradition, and that is Lauren Nicole. And I'll leave the link for her channel here, and you can go check her out. But I did make a video about our little getaway last year, and so we're planning doing it again this year. However, we are going to do the dam release, which is the more advanced one. We did the family one last year, so it was like a beginner's. I had never done whitewater rafting before, so that was a nice introduction for me, but we had so much fun, and this year we're going to try the advanced. And then after that, I am planning on going to Bali. So I'm going back to Southeast Asia. And I just fell in love with Southeast Asia. And so I'm thinking around, I don't know, between September and November, going to Bali. We have a friend who lives there who invited us to come and visit. So I'm super excited about that. And then there is a couple of other trips that may happen. I do want to go to Marrakesh. My husband is not too excited about it, so I might make that a solo trip or a girls trip with my friends. I'm not quite sure if that one is going to happen, but it is on the back of my mind. I'm trying to save some money because when you're not staying with friends or family, it's always more expensive. But I have that in mind. And maybe Mexico, maybe go back to Sayulita with my husband. He's never been there. I've been there alone. I've been there with my girls and a friend. And I just love that place. That place just has a special place in my heart. And I would love my husband to see it. So maybe we'll go back there. But yeah, lots of traveling plans. And hopefully I can get my pain a little bit more under control, because I'm not going to lie, the trip to Thailand was very painful. I was in a lot of pain there. But I tried to not let that get in the way of my enjoyment. I tried to be in the moment and kind of remind myself of how lucky I was to be there, that I would be in pain regardless, and how fortunate it was that I could be looking at this gorgeous ocean and experiencing all that culture.
It hit me. The pain hit really, really hard. I didn't even know if I was gonna make it back to the hotel. It was like pretty rough. And now we're just chilling here at our bungalow because I don't have the energy to do anything and I'm in too much pain. Which sucks because there is this viewpoint here in the island that I really wanted to do, but it is 1 hour hike uphill. There is viewpoint 1, 2, and 3, and there's just no way I'll be able to make it. Yeah, I just feel very fatigued, and our bungalow is up a hill, and I had no idea that it was when I booked. So my bed didn't do my homework properly. Little bit of a hill. Oh, my legs are gonna get strong. Our room was actually super high up the hill. There were like lots of stairs that you had to go up, and they gave us a free upgrade, so I didn't have to die going up. Isn't that wonderful? So I only have to go that little bit up. Oh, am I glad we got switched. Here's where we're staying. And I think we actually got to sea view now. Yes, we get to see the ocean, which we did not have. We had a garden view before. Going up this hill in the heat at night and early in the morning is not that bad. Yes, it's exercises up the hill and I get shortness of breath and my heart rate goes up, but I can do it. But during the day, in the middle of the heat of the day, it's a struggle. My husband has like to push me up and I have to stop like several times. You know, when you look at footage that is edited and with music, and you can make it look like the most perfect vacation, and it is an amazing vacation, but one component that we can't forget is that when you have chronic illnesses, they don't go away because you're on vacation. There is no vacation from chronic illness. You're still dealing with the pain and the dizziness and the fatigue. You're just in a beautiful place. And I feel if I'm going to be in pain anyways, I might be in pain in a beautiful place, but there is that side where you feel you're missing out because there are activities, there are things that I want to do that I just simply cannot do. Even when we were in Bangkok, every day we had to take a break, like at around 2 o'clock or so, go back to the hotel, get a break from the heat, rest, because I just don't not have the stamina to keep going all day. That's just not happening. So it's just kind of coming to terms and making peace with the fact that you can't do everything, and choose a few things and enjoy those things that you're doing and take the breaks that you need to take. So I am just going to lie down a little bit. I don't know if you can probably not see it from here. Maybe this beautiful view, air conditioning, rest a little bit, and then later when the sun is down, we'll go out for dinner and just a little stroll in town.
So basically just trying to still live life and still enjoy things in spite of pain. Obviously, if I wasn't in so much pain, I would have enjoyed more. I would have been able to do more things, but I try not to think about that. Yes, of course, it's always a goal to try to get better, to find solutions, to find medications, to find anything that's going to improve my quality of life, reduce my pain. But I don't want that to be the condition for me to do things. For me, if that happens, it's a bonus. But I'm still going to live my life and see the world regardless. So that's it, guys, for today's Q&A. Thank you for spending your time with me and asking all the questions. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.